So let us begin by inviting you, of course, to just take those lovely breaths. Just allowing yourself to simply connect with your full being just by remembering the intimacy of your breath. And when we talk about the intimacy of the breath, we simply mean that you are allowing yourself to have a close and personal connection to this most wonderful source of energization. Very often through the day, when you are engaged in this, engaged in that, your relationship to the breath becomes quite impersonal. You barely think about it at all, as it just keeps going in and out and doing its thing. So it's really lovely to just get reacquainted, nurturing the relationship between the breath and the body, the breath and the energy field, the breath and who you are. And the lovely thing about the breath is, even when you're ignoring it, it's still there for you. It's still there. But just connecting to it really helps you drop back into your body, into this very important vessel. And it's a very simple way of making yourself a number one priority. And it's really fine to put yourself first. To realize the importance of who you are, the significance of who you are. You are a vital element of this great organism of life. And yes, everybody else is also vital elements. But it's really fine to remind yourself frequently how important you are, how vital you are to your experience and to the unfolding of all that is. And that simple acknowledgement just says to the universe, yes, I count. Count me in. Show me what you've got to give me, because I count and I'm ready to receive it. And just because you step up to say that doesn't mean you're saying nobody else can, doesn't mean that someone has to be ahead and someone has to be behind, or someone has to be above and someone has to be below. It's simply just saying, I count now. the intricate details of my life, the things that I attend to, the gifts that I bring, the energy that I share, what I have to offer, it's important. I am an important part of all that is. And we want you to really feel that. We want you to really connect to that. Because it is the way to open the floodgates of support for you. Sometimes you're going through life going, well, what is the meaning? What is the purpose? What am I doing here? Why am I here? And it's very understandable that you should have confusion around your life, especially when things don't feel like they're going brilliantly or perfectly, when you feel a little off track, when you're not hitting your goals exactly as you want to. But even in those times, it's important to remind yourself that yes, you do count. It is important. Because your existence, just your very existence, is a significant part of all of creation. Now, as human beings, you layer the idea of meaning onto yourselves. And what we mean by that is you do perceive that achievement carries meaning, or certain acts carry meaning. And that is fine. That is the game you play. But you must never, ever, ever, ever lose sight of the fact that you are still valuable even in those moments when you do not appear to be living through one of those layers of meaning. Because those acts that you identify as meaningful, those experiences that you identify as meaningful, spring forth from the acceptance of your meaningfulness first. And we really want you to begin to embody this believe it before I see it mentality, because that is how things manifest into your reality. So if you want your life to have meaningful experiences, you've got to embrace that you are meaningful right now. And if you are confused about this, or if you have lost sight of this, it's because your veil of forgetfulness has clouded over your connection to the powerful source that you are. So when you're feeling lost or confused or without direction or feeling purposeless or even hopeless, you have to remember that's not who you are. That's just the veil becoming thicker for a moment. You've got to reconnect always with your preference of choice in order to begin to experience that in your reality. And it doesn't just have to be about living a meaningful life or a purposeful life. It could just be living a happy life. It could be living a prosperous life. It could be living a life full of love. But it has to happen in an internal way first. It has to be a choice that you are ready to activate with the full support of all that you are. And very often there are questions about being in alignment with one's life path or not being in alignment with one's life path. Are you living your life correctly? Are you doing it right? And the uncertainty around that can also really throw you off. And we want you to understand that, why, yes, there are certain things that your soul is wanting to experience or experiment or enjoy or play with here as you came into this lifetime experience. There isn't one singular groove that if you don't lock into it, you are locked out of what you were supposed to be or do or have. Again, it is the power of the intentionality. I am living in the truth of my soul's divine expression. I am enjoying the richness of my soul's divine expression. I am enjoying the purpose of my soul's divine expression. Well, when you talk about that, there isn't one way that your soul wishes to express. You are massive energetic beings. Your soul contains so many potentialities that there is an infinite variety of ways that you can live in the divinity of your soul. We really want you to understand that wherever you are, even if you're going through a period of resistance, even if you're going through a period of challenge, your soul, who you are, the path, the route, the groove, it can always find its way back to that infinite connection. So even if you're feeling off-centered, even if you're feeling out of alignment, all you have to say to yourself is, right now, in this moment, I have the power to reconnect fully with my soul. And just in that choice, just in that decision, you're already, quote unquote, back on track. Because you've acknowledged that the moment or the point that you are in, there is always a way to come back into the fullness of who you are. Even when your life experiences are showing you dead ends, even when you feel like you are in trouble, even when you are feeling like devastation is afoot, even when you are feeling like there are no solutions, we are here to tell you there are always solutions. Now, it may feel like a series of steps. You might think that $1 million dropping in your lap would be the perfect solution to whatever you're going through, and that can be one way, but maybe it's just a series of steps. But if you keep saying to yourself, there's always solutions wherever I am at, there's always solutions. There is always a route back to me fully opening to experiencing the profound energy of who I am. And it's only when you buy into this idea that there is only one single solution and it's out of your reach, or maybe 2 or 3 solutions that you're not that excited about, that you begin to tie off the way in which the universe can support you and bring you into a joyous place. Consciousness can create profound acts wherever it is. Joy can be experienced wherever it is. Now, of course, you may look at some of the most distressing sort of outcomes. Well, what if I am in a war-torn place? What if I have ended up in jail? What if I am hopeless or homeless? What if I am in a prison camp somewhere? Where are the solutions? Well, sometimes they happen on an internal level. And we're bringing up these dramatic examples because we know that when you are struggling with something, it feels as profound as that. It feels as much as a trap as these things we are saying to you. But on an inner level, there is always the opportunity to escape the pain of the idea that you are trapped in suffering. And as you embrace that you have the inner resources to find solutions, the external resources will begin to unfold very easily, even if you are in those dramatic kind of circumstances. Wherever you are, however dark it is looking, you have to remember that wherever you are, you can always lead yourself back into connection, back into alignment, back into joy. And it is only the fears of the egoic mind, only the old memory, that is going to keep you convinced otherwise and keep you out of discovering those solutions. And we're talking to you about this in the Prosperity Week because we want you to understand that in your creative life, with what you are doing, how you are bringing abundance in, how you are drawing it into your experience. Because the idea of a solution means opening. Where there was closure or a problem, now there is opening. And where there is opening, energy is flowing. And where energy is flowing, abundance is arriving. And where abundance is arriving, more joy is being halved. And more joy that is being halved, more solutions are arising, more opening is happening. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. People are getting very confused about law of attraction, and when things aren't going so well, they're really getting tough on themselves. I must be doing something wrong here. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just not acknowledging how right you are. And we really want you to get into this thinking about everything is coming to you now. The solutions, the love, the prosperity, the joy, the happiness, the creativity, the inspiration. It's happening now. Now. When you hold the vibration of now, it sends out a powerful signal. I am ready. And if you're not ready, that signal's going to get you ready. So don't even bother with your mind telling yourself you're not ready for things now. Ask for it now. Because you will be ready for it if you ask for it now. Ask to reach your full potential now. Ask to be in your full expression of your divine self now. Ask to be in absolute prosperity now. Ask to meet the love of your life now. Because that will realign you, and that will realign everything around you, so you can receive it in the now. Because if you're putting it out there in 3 months, in 6 months, 9 months, in a year, it's always going to remain in front of you. And your now and the now will never line up. And we want to sort of go over something we have shared about with you before, the difference between expansive and contractive thinking. It's so important for you at this time in your earth plane experience to really embrace the power of expansive thinking. Because of the shifts you are undergoing, because of the changes that are sweeping this planetary plane. You have to hold the marker for the power of this experience, the power of living in an expanded state, because You are going through a massive expansion. And the more you choose in your now to think in an expansive way, not only are you allowing yourself to experience all the blessings of expansion, you are holding that dynamic here for the planet. Because remember, contractive thinking is the way that the egoic mind designates the specifics of your life experience. It is the way that it takes infinite energy, moving and changing and shifting, and brings it under control enough to create your reality. It harnesses it, it pulls it in. It makes a whole bundle of energy into a table. It takes a whole bundle of moving energy and turns it into a building. You've got to realize how powerful the egoic mind is, because it is holding this massive illusion together in form. But you are at an exceptional time, because you have learned through your mastery of this experience, through many lifetimes and through the collective knowledge, that it is now possible for you to hold the form of your planetary experience and hold and itself, hold the full potential of who you are. And that is why you need to retrain your minds to work in expansive thinking. And it takes a little bit of practice. Because the fact of the matter is, you're so brilliant at holding the form of your reality, you don't need your mind to do it in such a direct way anymore. And what we mean by that is you're really holding this experience together without needing your mind now to be so specific to do that. You don't need to identify so specifically your surroundings. Because the advancement of the collective consciousness of the planet is such that you can multitask in a sense. You can maintain this illusion whilst transcending the illusion. And this is the great potentiality that you are coming into. So it is a wonderful time to think big, to think limitless. Your old contractive mind begins to throw up problems or issues, or not good enoughs, or imperfections. You've got to start saying to yourself, yes, maybe, but there's always a solution. There's always something that can unfold. So I'm not going to stop here because my contractive mind has thrown up a few stone walls. I'm just going to say, okay, great. When we hit those, I know that solutions are going to manifest in that moment. In fact, I know solutions are going to start manifesting so quickly that the problems are already solved ever before they had the opportunity to come into actualization. The old contractive mind is going to go into the future and find everything that can go wrong and why it shouldn't happen and how it can't happen. And you can simply transcend this by observing it. Just say, there's my contractive mind working. There's my contractive mind throwing up roadblocks before I'm anywhere even near that occurring. And it won't take long if you do this to begin to retrain your basic vibration to run with your expansive self. Now, the contractive mind can still take care of the details, it can still dot the I's and cross the T's, but the expansive mind runs the show rather than the contractive mind running the show and the expansive mind trying to squeeze in a little inspiration every now and then. As energy accelerates here on the planetary plane, it's more and more important to let go of those contractive roadblocks, to anticipate that solutions are waiting in the wings and anticipating the problems. Say to yourself, all my problems have already been solved before they even arrive. And the fear that fuels the contractive mind is the only thing that you need to transcend to actually really begin to live in the experience of the expanded consciousness. So when the contractive mind starts throwing up roadblocks, starts throwing up problems and issues, just say, I see some fear here. I see some fear here. Because it's just fear being cleverly disguised as a logical problem. And when you look at the fear and release the power of the fear, then the energy that has been caught up in that is free solutions. And you'll really begin to feel the miraculous energy of just being in the flow. And the best way for you to dissolve the blocking energy of the fear is to simply say, when you feel it arise, I love and accept the part of me that is feeling this fear right now. It couldn't be more simple. Because fear is an aspect of your consciousness that is disconnected from love. It is disconnected from remembering and from knowing that all that is providing constantly. It is the part of you that is disconnected from your heart, the source of all solutions, the source of all abundance, the source of all love. So don't start wrestling with the fear. Don't tell yourself you're wrong to have it. Tell yourself that you're a bad manifester if you hang on to this fear. Tell yourself that you're doing it all wrong. That's just the contractive mind kicking in again. kicking up a fuss and distracting. The minute you tell yourself you're doing something wrong, that's the contractive mind kicked in again. Because we don't want beings who are understanding the law of attraction to ever think that they are doing it wrong. All you need to do in those moments is love and accept the part of you that is feeling that. And there might be some parts of you that you need to tell that a few times to. Might be over and over for a while. That's all right. It needs a little coaching. It needs a little coaxing. It needs a little nurturing. But we guarantee that if you continue to do that, the fear will resolve, it will dissolve, and the pure flow of love, of creativity, will operate in your life in miraculous ways. And we understand that it is easy for us to say this to you, sitting here in non-physical, not experiencing as you do the strength of resistance of your planet. But what we observe is the miraculous transformation, and we see it in millions and billions of moments all around your planet all the time. What happens when somebody steps out of the contractions of fear and steps into love. And because we know most of you who are listening to this want to create your abundance from your love, want to create your experience of prosperity from doing something that you love. It's very important that you know that this is absolutely fine, that this is absolutely how it should be. And it's only contractive thinking that says to you, well, you can't. You better do something sensible. You better do the right thing. You better just be a 9-to-5er, or don't be a 9-to-5er. But you better just do what you don't want to do, basically, because that's how you're going to make enough money to live. All contractive thinking. tension you experience is when you feel the push of your soul up against the veils of your fear. That's why sometimes you'd rather just go and do something that your mind knows to be a moderately sensible thing to do. But the more the power of your soul is engaged, the more it's going to rub up against the resistance of the fear, the more you're going to feel the tension, the sense of challenge, the scariness. Because you really have a difference in density of energy running through you. If you think about the film that is between, for example, when water hits air, that line, that tension point between the surfaces. When your giant soul energy comes up against your most dense line of fear, there's a natural tension there. But the only thing you need to do to dissolve the tension is to love and accept that part of you that's carrying that. Bring it back into love. Acknowledge it. Ah, yes, I see there is a difference here. I see it's making me feel this way. I'm just going to love and accept the part of me that's feeling that. I'm going to bring it back into love. I'm going to bring it back into my soul. And then the tension is gone. And we're sort of giving you a really big talking about this tonight, because it's so very important for you to grasp. It's so very important for you to understand that your conscious choices about how you choose to operate in your life, how you choose to think about your life, how you choose to perceive your experience and the possibilities are very important now. And we know each and every one of you has infinite potential and power to truly create magnificence on this earth. No matter where you are right now, no matter how trapped you are feeling right now, no matter how confused you are feeling right now, your potential to come into the fullness of who you are is never, ever taken away. We want you to hear that. It's always there. No matter how low you are feeling, even if you were homeless on the street without a penny, your potential has not left you. Your potential to unfold the magnificence of all you are is still seated in you. Just keep remembering that. If you're in a tight spot, you haven't lost your potential, you haven't lost your power, it is there. And you just need to find one expansive thought in that moment that will allow your soul to begin to operate through your egoic paradigm. Possibilities, potentialities. Just find one thought. Just find, well, maybe I could do this, ... And you've brought the light back into the situation. And just understand that the more you bring in this soulful energy, yes, fear will arise. It's part of the egoic mind. It is part of the aspect of your consciousness that creates the reality that defies your soul expression. So the more you challenge it, the more it's going to throw up. But so what? That's just its game. That's just its way that it's trying to hang on to what it knows. So when you're feeling some fear, say to yourself, fantastic, I'm feeling fear. Guess what that means? More of my soul is coming in and it's hitting up against something. And I know I have the power to turn this around. Get excited by your fear. Realize that when you hit a fear wall each and every time, you are dissolving the resistance. You have been giving a grand opportunity to bring a huge change in. That's how you can begin to start dissolving the fear straight away. Fantastic, I'm feeling fear. Brilliant. A huge amount of my potential is simmering away, dying to come in. And my mind is pressing the door against it. No, no, no. But if you step on the side of being excited about the fear, already you've bypassed the illusion of the mind. And we know that it can feel overwhelming. We know that it can feel so real to you that you even begin to create experiences that reflect your worst fears. But we know that at every point in your experience you can turn it around. Because we see it happen millions and billions of times a day. So now when you're feeling your fear, just say to yourself, great, this is a marker. This is a mark of my progress, of my advancement on my path, on my course. And that way you don't have to resist it. You don't have to try and bury it. You don't have to try and deny it. You can actually begin to feel the energy that is held in that point of resistance. Because that point of resistance has a lot of power in it. Think about it. Your entire massive spiritual force coming up against a wall built by the egoic consciousness. That wall is pretty strong. That wall has a lot of energy in it to create it. That wall has a lot of potentiality. when you love and accept the part of you that's holding that wall up, you instantaneously explode that energy out into the universe. You instantaneously send out the hugest impulse of energy that will powerfully attract what you are wanting beyond that fear into your life. And some of you came into this life experience saying to yourself, I'm going to build a lot of these walls of fear. I'm really going to pack it on. I'm really, really going to put a lot of barriers and a lot of boundaries and a lot of fences and a lot of castles and fortresses around me, because in the construct of those walls, those castles, those fortresses, I'm going to store my potential. I'm going to store some of the power of who I am. And the bigger the fortress, the bigger the wall, the bigger the castle, the more of my potential is in there. And through this life journey, I'm going to experience the joy of unleashing that potential. And I'm going to live with so much of that raw energy released into my life. It's going to be brilliant. And I know I can do it because I know that I am a master. And I know that I can play this game at this skill level. Because I know I will find the keys that unlock the doors, that dismantle the walls. You would not have set up for yourself what you decided to do if you weren't 100% sure that there were solutions every step of the way for you. And we want you to feel our excitement for you. Because we know each one of you is bristling with solutions, bristling with potentiality, bristling with all that you need to make it happen, all that you need to bring in a magnificent life experience. And if you've had a lot of fear going on, if you've had a lot of walls in front of you, if you've had a lot of tough stuff going on, it's because you wanted to accelerate this. You were like, you know what, I'm so good at this. I'm so great at this game. I can handle dismantling several pretty massive walls in a row. Because pow, 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 I'm going to release all that energy back into my life. So stop fighting your fear. Just dive into it. Be excited that it's there. Love and accept the part of you that is carrying that fear, because in that part of you is a massive, massive, massive reservoir of potential energy. That's why you want to love and accept it and bring it in. It's like a nuclear explosion coming from an atom being split. So just take a moment now to think about one thing that is scaring the heck out of you. One thing that is intimidating you or frightening you. And just feel the energy that is behind that fear. And the more energy there is behind that fear, fueling that fear, the more energy is about to be released into your life. And even if you offer yourself an expansive thought, more fear may rise up. Oh, that could never happen. Oh, you're kidding yourself. Let yourself go into the energy behind that thought and realize there's a massive energy reservoir waiting to be released. And just feel its energy. And just love and accept the part of you that is holding that. Be excited about your lives, dear ones. There is so much magnificence. It is here now. It is you now. Believe it before you see it, and you'll be seeing it before you believe it. We adore you so very much, dear ones. Until we are meeting in this way or some other way, we say we love you very much. And for now, we'll say goodbye, dear ones. Goodbye. All right, everybody. Well, thank you very much. We'll be back on Wednesday, and have a lovely evening, everybody. Namaste.